Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about some of the cringiest moments in dating. Enjoy the show.
And hi, if you're watching us on YouTube, now is a great time to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, hit all those buttons that are around this area or down here. I don't know where they are.
Wherever.
So you don't miss out on a single video. But thank you for joining us on YouTube as well.
Well, we're back and
We're back.
ready for cringe. I can't wait for this episode.
I know. Well, so this is today is January 15th, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our last episode we did on January 3rd.
Something like that, yes.
We were really excited for the year. Right?
And now it's just,
it's just
let's
like,
just talk about cringe shit now.
Yeah, the whole year just, like, all right, well, let's start getting into cringy shit, Here's our dating affirmations, and then the whole world just went to shit immediately afterwards.
Yo, but really it did. So let's just bring back the bad stuff. But I think there's a lot people can learn from our mistakes, other listeners' mistakes on cringe dates to know that they shouldn't follow these, I don't know, not rules, but have dates like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is we've got some great cringy stories, not just from Sarah and I's experiences, but also from our Facebook group, and I think that'll be very entertaining to go through. So,
but first, let's go back to your cringe date from last week, because I think us assuming that she punched a wall, I was super like, oh my God, Adam. And then what we last left off with was a text message conversation between you and her. And I think she texted you more after we recorded that episode.
Yeah, I obviously, as everyone who listens knows, after I record something, I don't remember anything about what I recorded. So I don't remember what we said. I went out with somebody. It was a second date. We got way too drunk. We were doing shots. She was already drunk when I got there. And then at one point she got jealous, I think. This is just my supposition about somebody that was that we were talking about. This other person and I were talking about, even though we weren't talking about her in any type of jealousy-inducing way. And she disappeared and came back with what I think is a broken hand. And so then I kind of distanced myself and left for the night and wandered around by myself. So yeah, subsequently I texted her the next evening. I think I sent her a text and it said, "How's your hand?" And she wrote back the next day with just "swollen" is all she said.
Right. That's where we last left off.
Oh, did I? Okay. So I did share that. So then I replied back and I said, I'm glad it wasn't broken, and that'd be bad. And what happened exactly? Because last night the night before that night took a really weird turn, and she just said something like, "Yeah, sorry, wasn't my best night," or something like that. What is it? Do you remember exactly what it said?
I think it wasn't my best night, or wasn't at my best, or something like that. Best, and you're like, okay, cool. And when you told me that, I was like, Adam, she definitely punched the wall. No fucking way did she not.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Sunday night. I said, I'm glad it's not broken. What happened? Last night took a weird turn. And then she replied, goes, "Yeah, wasn't one of my best nights. Sorry about that." And I have not replied.
Okay.
I have not replied. I don't feel like I need to.
I think she knows that it's not going anywhere, and you left knowing it wasn't going anywhere, so there's nothing else to say.
I feel like that in the 10 or 11 days since then, I have gotten a couple snaps from her. Just during the middle of the day, she's just like, it's about work or something like that. And I would send one back saying, "Oh, I'm taking a nap." And, and she would just give me the middle finger. It was just funny little things, but no,
let's plan another date.
Yeah. And the fact that I haven't tried to, I think she's kind of got the sense. And I don't feel like I'm even ghosting her to this either. Like, I feel like we talked about it. She fucking punched a wall.
She won't own up to it,
insane
but
jealous. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's done, and I think she knows it, and that's okay.
Okay. So
Am I ghosting though? Do you think I'm ghosting?
Well, you guys are still kind of chatting through Snapchat though.
Yeah, what's that we call it? What's that called? Breadcrumbing, when you just
Yeah, it's breadcrumbing. But I mean, when she said sorry and whatever, I think that kind of just laid the groundwork for, there's no more of this. That's kind of how I read that text of, it wasn't my best, sorry.
Yeah, like,
I
sorry.
fucked that up. My bad. We're
good
done.
luck. Yeah, good luck with
Yeah.
everything. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of how I'm looking at it too.
Yeah.
That was yes, that was a couple weeks ago. And then what else
You've
have I
been
done?
going out having a lot of fun drinking, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
semi jealous.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah, this is
insomniacs.
the other night. Okay, so this takes like an extreme flashback to right when COVID started. I went out with a friend, and we went to Rachel's, went to the strip club because another friend was dancing there, and she's someone that I've enjoyed talking to. We've spent some time together before too, and my friend was a lesbian, and the lesbian that I've been out with, who seemed like she's mostly lesbian, but not 100% lesbian. Like, she's more bi, but maybe she won't actually admit it. Like, she's like, yeah, no, I've been with a couple guys, but I'm gay. Like that type of thing. So, because instead of like they say like the girls that become martini sexuals, where they drink too much and then all of a sudden they make out with girls, like she might be the type that like has too much whiskey and all of a sudden she's like, I want to fuck a guy, like I think that might be what it is. So the three of us were at Rachel's. My friend who was dancing there came over and basically spent the rest of the night with us, just kind of hanging out. We were dancing and drinking, and then I invited them back to the house afterwards. And all three of us came back here, and I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. And then they just ended up fucking each other. We all get naked, get in the pool, and they just ended up fucking each other on the edge.
Classic Adam story, but yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, like stripped down, hop in the pool. I look over there, just like, tongue deep in each other, and I'm like, God damn it. That's it right there. What the fuck? Well, so the friend who was the dancer, last week I went out and I texted her and I was like, hey, what are you up to? Do you want to come join me? Come, let's go drinking. So she met me at a bar downtown Orlando, and we did a little bar hopping.
Okay.
Had a couple drinks, and just caught up, and like we really get along well, which was nice. Like, we were just talking all types of shit. She's been going through her own stuff. We were talking about it, and then we started doing shots, and that's really where shots are just the devil's work. Right?
Oh, you think you would learn? You really think you would learn?
You think that I would know, but when you're with a pretty girl and she's like, "Let's do shots," I'm like, "Woo, let's do shots." That's what happens.
That's fair. Okay, sure.
Yeah, so we're doing shots, and the night does get a little blurry. And at one point, we're at one bar where she is enjoying walking around to guys that are sitting by themselves and like just flirting with them, just to kind of like make them like, and then like she's just because she's drunk off her ass, so she's like just having fun, just walking around,
she's like just fucking around.
Yeah, and I'm finding it very entertaining. In fact, I found a whole bunch of videos on my phone where I was videoing her doing this because I thought it was so funny. Yeah, which I don't fucking know. But at one point, we're at Stagger Inn, and she's at like I'm sitting at the corner of one bar, and she's talking to a guy that's at the other corner, and something about him, just like he had like one of those punchable faces, and I think I was feeling a little antagonistic or aggressive about just the world in general, and I think he just kind of was reacting in a douchey way to her, not in a like I don't know, he was just very kind of just like, shitty.
Puffing out his chest, kind of like.
I don't even know how to describe it. I really don't know how to describe it. It was more just a vibe he was giving off, which could have also been completely fictional because I was drunk.
You were drunk. Yeah, that was my next question.
And I did something I've never done in my life, and I actually don't remember actually doing it. Like, I don't remember.
Well, how do you know that it happened then?
Because I was told by everybody around me that it happened.
Oh, okay. Then it happened. Okay, go on.
I tossed my glass with my drink at him. Not like to toss the liquid inside.
Like an actual glass,
like
not a plastic cup.
Underhand tossed the glass to him like he was going to catch it, even though there's no reason he would know that I was throwing it to him. And instead, because he didn't know I was doing this, instead it landed on the bar in front of him, shattered into a million pieces, and showered him with broken glass and liquor.
Holy fuck,
And
Adam! What the fuck?
I don't remember what the impulse was to do it. I don't know where I thought in my head, oh, this is a good idea. Like, let's do this. Let me just toss a glass to this guy. It's the first time in my life anything like that has ever happened. And I'm gonna blame my date. I'm gonna say she brought that out in me.
I'm gonna blame you taking shots, but also you.
But I've done shots before, and I've never done anything like that. Like,
Why would you throw an actual glass though? It'd be one thing if it was a plastic cup. I mean, you still shouldn't throw drinks at people, but
I have no idea what in my head, I kind of think that I thought that I was going to, when people do the flip cup where they just that I kind of thought I was just going to throw the glass and it was just going to land on the bar in front of him and just surprise him. Yeah, I know. That's what I really think.
Surprise, shattered glass in your face, motherfucker. The bartender,
what? Yeah. Oh God. And the bartender came over. She was like, okay, that's not okay. Like, you can't do that. I was like, what? She goes, you just threw your glass at him. And I was like, no, I didn't. She's like, I just watched you do it. Like, you have to go. You have to go now. And so, yeah, I don't remember at all. Like, so I paid for stuff. I grabbed her. We left. And the night just kind of got, that was like the end of it. It looks I stopped.
Okay, I was gonna say it got worse.
No, it was entertaining, at least. She thought it was funny. Yeah, and then she and I were just kind of holding hands, walking around downtown. And then I was gonna make sure she got home, but she's like, "No, I'll just drive you home." So she gets in. We got in her car.
Very drunk, obviously.
Yeah, I was definitely gonna Uber, but got in her car and then drove back to back to my house, and then she dropped me off, and and it was a fun night. And, I've suggested that we go out again at some point, and she seems amenable to it, but she's also very flaky and very hard to get in touch with, so I'm not going to put too much effort into it. But
it's just on the one-off chance you might be able to get a hold of her, then you guys would hang out. Is that kind of the vibe?
Basically, yeah. Okay. Although I did, her side view mirror was broken. And so in the car while we were driving back, I went on Amazon and ordered a new side view mirror. You need
to stop fucking drinking. I don't
need to be allowed on Amazon when there's alcohol involved, because I ordered a waffle iron for myself. I ordered her a side view mirror. So it arrived and I was like, oh, hey. And I texted her. I was like, so I guess I have a side view mirror here for you. Let me know. I'll install it for you. Which I guess is a good reason to meet up, but that wasn't my purpose for doing it. She just needed one. And she's like, yeah, I don't know how to get this fixed. I don't want to bring it to a mechanic. And I was like, literally, it's like $30 for a new mirror, and you just screw it in. They're very easy to do. I've done it before. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, piece of cake. And so then apparently I was like, boop, boop, boop on my phone and just ordered one.
I got you on Amazon. Let me just buy more shit.
Oh, God. Terrible. What are the choices I make sometimes.
How old are you again? What the hell?
I don't know. But I should not be trusted with a cell phone after like 2 a.m.
Or a glass full of alcohol.
Or a glass full, I know. Yeah, so that's been my my recent life. Yeah. Anything else going on? I matched with somebody who listens to the podcast. We matched on Coffee Meets Bagel. I sent you the screenshot where she. Yeah, but she lives over in Daytona, so it's about about an hour away. So a little further than my normal, more than 5-minute radius.
A lot more actually, but
I think we'll make plans to probably go out at some point soon, because it seems like we have a lot, seem to get along pretty well. So that'll be fun. We'll see how the conversation goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that like a serious date? Just because I don't know, dating listeners doesn't always seem like a good idea.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, they're people too.
I know.
Our listeners are people too. What do you think?
Well, obviously, but I don't know. I've dated. Sure, they have needs, but I'm saying I've dated people who have wanted to be on the podcast, so they went on a date with me.
Well, that's different.
I don't know. That's why I'm like
randomly matching someone that happens to also listen to the podcast because they came across your, that's, and it's also not the first time for me to have done that.
Okay, well, fine. You're you. I feel like it's different for me.
I could see that. I mean, you did hook up with a listener of the podcast, so
Okay, define hookup. We made out on the back of his car in a YMCA parking lot. Okay, that is not hooking up. Okay,
No.
that's just me making stupid decisions when I get back to Orlando.
Yeah.
Oh, that was shit.
And
That seems like
yeah,
so many years ago now.
it was only a year ago.
I know.
I picked you up, and then had to
I
stop at
grew up
the
everywhere.
Honey Baked Ham parking lot so you could puke in the bushes. I still have to look for that, see if I have that video of that or not.
Please hope you don't. So.
I could add it to that TikTok. That oh no TikTok.
Oh no! Do that, please.
Like pictures of you the night before, all happy, and then like
Sarah living her best life the next day.
Yeah. So, anyways, but no, I have no problem going out with someone that's a listener. It takes a lot of the edge off for me because they already know.
Adam, turn off your fucking buzz on your phone right now. If it goes off another time, I'm gonna lose it.
I can't even hear that.
I can hear it, which means it's gonna pick up on the audio. So turn it off.
Because my audio's over here. Remember that?
I'm just saying it'll still pick
Not
up.
gonna pick up. It's not going to pick up.
It did before. So, and you got mad at me. You said, "Hey, why don't you tell me these things in the middle of an episode so I can turn it off?" So please turn it off.
It's tough. I thought I'd already turned it off. I forgot.
Okay.
What were we saying?
Going out with listeners.
Oh, I don't have a problem going out with listeners because it takes the edge off me because they've listened to the podcast. They know who I am. They know about me. They know the negatives.
They know the expectation of the date, and it can go south real fucking quick too. So they go in with no expectations, actually.
Well, they just know like the type of person I am, and they know all my negatives already for the most part. So I feel like it really does to make it much easier for me in the long run. So I'd much rather go out with people who already know me than have to go through the process of getting to know someone on a date.
Because I can understand that.
Then we can just talk about them because then they already know. Like then we can just talk about them, and I get to know them, and they literally know most of the things that they'd want to know about me.
Yeah, I guess.
But that was also how it was with blogging and stuff like that. Like I'd go out with people who read my blog, and like they already knew everything about me, and they're like, "Well, I feel like I'm at a disadvantage." It's like, no, this just means we get now I get to know talk exclusively about you, and you don't have any questions. You already know me. You already know a pretty good aspect of myself.
Yeah, because I can agree for a certain portion of that of I hated repeating everything podcast related on every day of like that had to be a point of the conversation to go on my little spiel of and I do this blah 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 blah, and then the same questions get asked and then we move on to the next thing, and that portion always felt like an interview to me.
Yeah, exactly. So
I get that.
So we'll see.
Okay.
But what about you? I know obviously I don't have any date stories.
No crazy date stories, unfortunately, but fortunately, I guess.
Couple weeks to hang out with Master of None.
Yeah, I just literally after we released that episode and then the whole world fucking just went into flames. My mental health, and maybe for a lot of listeners too, my mental health has not been fucking great lately. I've been incredibly anxious. With my birthday coming up, for whatever reason, I'm feeling very stuck in my life right now, just like turning on a new chapter, but I can't progress in a lot of things that I wanted to do because the fucking world is still shut down. Yeah. So I've been feeling really down on myself, and I let Master of None know that, and he came over Wednesday, and I just fucking bawled for about 3 hours when he was over, just talking about just what all my issues are and just how I'm feeling, because I think for just me personally, like I don't see anyone else but him for the most part, unless I like go to work out or go to the spa to work, and those are like my only other social interactions besides him. Obviously, I FaceTime you almost every other day, but any of my other friends, there's really not that much back and forth. And I also like don't I've been keeping a lot of like the feelings that I have to myself because everyone's going through their own shit, and I really don't want to burden anyone with like all of my problems, even though I probably burden you the most. But when I like just let everything out in front of him, one of the things I mentioned was like, I like to have a plan, that's my thing. I am a planner in a relationship, and just I've always been that person. And not being able to plan for even just the next 6 months fucking kills me, because I'm like, well, what am I looking forward to? Where is the hope? Where is the motivation to do stuff? And you and I have both talked about this, of we've just not been super motivated for a lot of extra projects that we've started and things like that. And I 100% have. And one of the things Master of None and I have also talked about is moving in together at some point. And my lease is up in June, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I have a job that is pretty much remote that I could probably get approval for to work 100% remote and move to a different city if I wanted. I can stay in Nashville and move in with Master of None. I have a lot of options, but I also feel like I don't at the same time, because he doesn't know what he's doing and he doesn't really have a plan, and I'm trying to make a plan. And so I'm somewhat frustrated, because I'm like, I just want to fuck what we're going to do. Like, are we going to move in together? Am I going to move and travel to different cities each month? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? And this is something that we're going to have to work on, because I don't want to just keep staying in Nashville, living my same fucking days of waking up in the morning, closing my laptop at 5, working out, and then going, oh, I'm going to do this all over again. Like, I need something to change in my life, whether that's moving in with him or some kind of new dynamic, because I'm just like mentally exhausted. So to be continued on what comes from that. I think we need some more conversations on where we're going to go from there, but that was something I brought up to him. And I don't think he's ready to leave Nashville yet, where I kind of feel like I'm ready to go. So there's just like, there's a lot of uncertainty obviously in the world, and then just like in the next 6 months, what I'm going to be doing.
It's hard, because I think even if you were single, even you might try to make plans, but you still can't actually make plans. Like, even if it was just you making the choice right now, just because who knows what's going to be happening in the next couple months. So it's tough. It's tough for someone like you who needs to plan. And
and I'm like super over just being in this apartment. I am very, I need some kind of fucking change. I live in a studio apartment as a reference, and I barely leave as it is. You know, today was like my one day out so far, and I'm like, wow, there's a whole fucking world out here. But I literally don't do anything, and it's super depressing. And I don't know. I just something.
That's why I go downtown. Like, that's why I need to get out of the house sometimes, and I need to like just go downtown and like walk around to the bars, have a drink, and then that's it. You know, like, just because, even if I'm by myself, just because I need to just get out. So I can understand that.
I don't feel as comfortable going to a bar.
I get it, and that's
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know.
I mean, like, half the bars I'm going to, I'm one of 3 people in the entire giant bar. You know, like, and
that's pretty
2 of them are bartenders. So it's
right.
Most of the time when I'm going down there, it's not packed, and if it is packed, I don't stay because I don't feel comfortable when it's packed, anyways.
Yeah.
But I can understand that, and it's never a burden. You do have a lot that you need to share, and I can tell, because I will get multiple FaceTime calls.
I've just been like, this past week with it's like after the whole Capitol attack happened, I've just been super fucked mentally, of like, I don't want to fucking live in this country anymore, let alone like this fucking apartment. I need to change something about my life. And it's tough too, because if part of me coming up with plans for the future is me operating like I'm still single, of, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm like, well, fuck, what am I going to do about Master of None? What's his plan? You know, does he have a plan? And he hasn't planned anything. So we're kind of at this part where we need to kind of get on the same page of what our next move is, because I'm not going to just continue on this path, or at least think that I'm going to continue on this path.
And here's how I kind of see it, just knowing you, is that regardless of what's going on work-wise, etc., I don't see you staying in Nashville forever. Like, even if you stayed for another year or two, like, I don't see it going much beyond that. Maybe a couple, maybe let's say max a 5-year plan. Like, you know, if like you had a job that was really great.
Well, I mean,
but then I can't see you staying there. I can't see that being your place where you end up. And
I don't want to buy a house here. I mean, realistically, I don't want to buy a house here, and I think he wants to buy a house. So we're on like different wavelengths right now with what we want out of the next 5 years. And for me, I'm like, I have this mega fear of being mediocre in my life. Just to be completely honest, I don't want to work with mediocre people. I don't want to be around mediocre people. Like, I don't want to just do average. I want to do shit that other people would be afraid to do. And one of those things is like, I was supposed to move this year and pack up all my shit and move to New Zealand. Like that was my plan in 2019. I was going to save $20,000, quit my job and move to New Zealand. That's not fucking happening. And I knew that in April that, 2021 was going to be a bust for that plan, but it's like really hitting me hard now because I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't have a backup plan. I don't really have anything. And I also think when I made that plan in 2019, I had no fucking thought of having a boyfriend. I was like, yeah, I'll date,
None of us did.
Right? No one was like, Sarah in 2020, Sarah during a pandemic is going to find somebody. Yeah. So I think I'm trying to wrap my head around what 2019 me wanted to do before the shutdown, but I'm also like, I'm totally not the same person anymore, and the world's not the same either. So what's your next move, and how are him and I going to get on the same page of what our next move is really? Because I don't, our relationship is great, and obviously like I'm not trying to end anything, or I still want us to be together, but I'm trying to figure out what's going to work for both of us, and so we can both come to some kind of compromise. And I haven't had to come to a compromise in a fucking while, so that's like, why do I have to compromise, or why can't we just do it my way? I don't think my way is wrong, and I know we're probably going to have some tough conversations in the future on what that compromise looks like, and I may or may not be too happy about it, but I already see that on the horizon based on the conversations we had on Wednesday, just about how I'm feeling and what plans I'm trying to put in place for my life, that we're not right on the same page right now.
If it wasn't you, and if someone had asked me what I suggested they do in this situation, I would suggest that they proceed as if they are single, like make plans to move somewhere, because you could have a long distance relationship, especially especially if you're traveling. And we've talked about the what will make a long distance relationship work is if there's an end in sight. Like if it's something where I'm going to move here and then you keep staying here for a bit longer, but like maybe the end in sight is, let's see how much, what the plan is for the future, for 6 months or a year from now. And we could travel, you could travel up here, travel back, whatever. So that would be my suggestion, because if the relationship can, make it through that, then it'll be even stronger.
Yeah. I mean, even part of me just wants to take 3 months off, pack up all my shit in storage, and just travel for 3 months and work remote and see if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And be like, hey, meet me out in Arizona when you're ready, or whatever. But again, like we haven't even had this conversation yet. And these are just, since he came over on Wednesday, I've just been thinking about this the past 2 days now. And I'm like, well, he's coming over tonight. Then I kind of want to bring this up of what else I've been thinking. Maybe he's going to think I'm fucking crazy because on Wednesday I was so sad and depressed. And now I'm like, here's my new idea. Let's go.
No, I think he knows you probably well enough now to know this is what you do. This is how you act.
That is what well, my whole thing is I cry, I have a fucking mental breakdown because I don't think I've felt like, I haven't released all of those emotions like that in a long time. So it's just been building up of like, I'd get a little emotional and upset, but it wasn't like a huge fucking hyperventilating type of cry that's 3 hours long. And so when I have those big releases, then I go, okay, you got that out of your system. You feel better. I wake up the next morning feeling a little bit refreshed, actually, with puffy eyes still. And I'm like, okay, what's your plan? How you got that out of your system? Pick up your fucking feet. What's your next move? And I've been like that since Wednesday, or since Thursday morning of, okay, we got this.
Good.
But he has no idea yet. So he's going to see me today and be like, wow, you seem so much better. I'm like, yeah, I'm a fucking woman with a plan now. And honestly, like, that's the type of shit that motivates me, is knowing like that gives me hope, that gives me forward thinking, that gives me momentum to do other projects and tackle other things. And that's important for me. And I hope we can get on the same wavelength and figure something out for us.
Yes. But in the end too, it's, about you and your own sanity first.
I mean, that is fair.
Yeah. And so we're actually recording this. So what?
I said to be continued.
Yes, to be continued. So we're recording this actually on a Friday afternoon because Sarah is off work Friday, January 15th. And why did you take off work for the next week?
Because my fucking birthday's on Tuesday, so we're gonna celebrate Trump's last day in office and my fucking birthday.
That's fantastic. So yeah, so actually by the time we come back with another episode, it'll have been both of our birthdays because
Right, yeah.
mine's 6 days after yours. Mine's the 26th. So yeah. So anyways, well, I guess we should probably just all of our listeners should chime in later on and wish if you're listening to this episode, you should probably tell us both happy birthday because it is. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Yeah.
How old are you gonna be? You're gonna be 29.
29. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year of my 20s.
That's old as fuck.
So old. Maybe you should date people who are, my age and older. So as you get older with age, maybe you should date up too. I don't know.
That sounds crazy. That's some crazy.
I don't know.
Talk right there. I don't know about that. That's insane. I was gonna say one other thing. That this is that we talk on FaceTime a lot. You're the only person that I talk to on FaceTime because I just don't do it at all. And we have also, in this process of talking constantly on FaceTime, gotten entirely too familiar with each other on FaceTime. And I thought I would share the story today.
Go for it.
So half the time, if you FaceTime me and I'm in the shower, I will literally answer in the shower and just be like, no, I'll call you back or whatever. And then the other day you called and I had just got out of the shower. So I was like getting ready. So I just propped my phone up as I'm getting ready. And why don't you continue the story?
Oh my God. So I don't know if Adam just wasn't aware of how his camera was faced or anything.
No, my camera's facing chest up. Chest up is as high as it was. Okay.
But I just don't think he was really aware that I was paying attention to what he was doing. So, and he's like fucking scratching his balls, and I could actually
I wasn't
see
scratching
him do
my
this.
balls,
Like,
by the way.
What were you doing?
I was getting ready. First of all, I brushed my beard. I was doing my Q-tips, and then I was putting lotion on. And then at one point I'm just lotioning up like my entire head to toe.
I guess you were lotioning your balls. Then I don't know something with your balls, and I was like, did he really just do that on FaceTime and not even care? What?
Yeah. I didn't even think about it, and then all of a sudden, you didn't even just think this, Sarah. You said it literally. You said, did I just watch you lotion your balls and asshole right we're talking, and I it just fucking killed me because I didn't think about it because like I said, you can only see chest and up on me, so I know you can't see what I'm doing.
But I knew what you were doing.
You knew what I was doing. Watching me squirt lotion in my hands and just reach back and down.
Yeah. Literally the back and down is what got me there. I was like, what you doing down there, bro?
Oh God, yeah. It was just one of the funniest things, and I was just it's one of those things that makes me think. I kind of wish sometimes that we just recorded everything that Sarah and I did at all times, whenever our interactions with each other, because I feel like it's just it's a reality.
Shit is said, yeah.
Oh yeah, the shit we say too, but just shit like that happens, and it's just. Yeah, it's a whole reality show in itself. The podcast is like the professional version of this.
That's so true. Damn.
Just imagine a less professional version of this happening. All the other the rest of the 2 weeks, 4 times a day we talk. It's gonna be ridiculous.
The FaceTimes are good because I'll just be sitting there and I'll see your face. You shake it, nope, and then you hang up. I'm like, damn. He's naked, okay. And then a minute later, you're on your bed. You're like, oh, can you stop with that? I'm like, why do you fucking answer then?
Yeah, I know. It's a habit to always answer. Usually because I have music on too. It's just easier just to hit answer and then hang up or whatever, or have a podcast going or something. So it's just pretty funny. Yes. So we are way too comfortable with each other, and I guess that makes us good partners for this podcast.
I guess.
And that's that would be a cringy thing to do with a date, would be to be talking to a date on FaceTime and then lotion your balls, lotion up your balls and your ass and all that, and then have her realize what you were doing. And now I know that action is like.
How did you not know before is what I don't understand.
I wasn't because I know what I wasn't I was looking at myself on your camera and the camera, so I knew that all I could see was my shoulders. I didn't realize that it was such an obvious behind
you're just lotion on hand. Okay, down there. Where do I think he's going? I
guess that's true, and I just never occurred to me. So that's good to know that I should never be on a FaceTime with a date and do that, because that might be a little bit of a cringy moment right there, to have her witness that.
Yeah.
So I don't mind when I'm dating somebody and they're here. I'm just I got one leg up on the counter and I'm just lotioning it all up.
You don't get any help?
No, well, I mean, I can always get help, but no, I don't try to get help then
I was
either.
gonna say I've never lotioned balls before. There's a first time for everything, though.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. There's nothing like a freshly lotioned scrotum. I had that's the one time that I had my bathroom window faces the front yard, and it's a full size window, and I had it open to let the light in. And normally, I mean, it's still quite a ways to the street, so it's not like anybody on the street can even see in. And one day I was like lotioning my balls, and right when the pool guy walked right by the front window, like just because he was walking through the front yard.
Just not do that anymore.
Oh God, no! I mean, you need to. It needs to. It's nice. You need to be moisturized. That area should be very heavily moisturized. It's very, very, very important to have that like that.
Uh,
Well, with that, should we take a break?
let's take a break from lotioning balls. Actually, we'll give you a break so you can lotion your balls, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Well, we talk a lot about dating and relationship red flags and dating do's and don'ts. And even though we talked about dating affirmations last week, I think it's important to note the cringy things that could happen on dates that obviously we don't plan for things to be cringy. They just kind of happen, but these are other things that listeners have had happen in their own dating lives and things we've done that are like, oh fuck, that was cringe. I didn't think it was gonna turn out that bad, or I thought I was still doing okay at dating, and then it turned out being cringe. So yeah, we have a lot of good stories for you today.
Right. Yeah.
Because there's so many cringy things that just like aren't a red flag, but like when you think about it, you're like, yeah, probably shouldn't do that. Yeah. But it's not like the top 20 of do's and don'ts or anything like that that you would normally think of, like be on time for a date or, whatever.
Yeah, and some of the cringy things are just things you can't even avoid. They're accidents that happen,
Yeah.
and so can you recover from them? Sometimes, and sometimes no, you cannot. Like obviously a great example would just be my date who punched the wall. Like that was a cringy thing that happened, and it might not have been her best moment, and it was and it was certainly something that I don't think she normally does, but for me that was enough. Another cringy thing would have been me tossing the glass. That could have been that could have been a deal breaker for somebody, but luckily it was not. So we actually did ask. We asked our Facebook group, which if you haven't joined yet, you definitely should ask them for their cringy moments. Some of them came up with cringy moments they did, and then a lot of them, most of them, I would say, had cringy moments that their date did. And there's some really, really great ones. So we're going to go through a couple of those, and then they'll talk about our own experiences as well.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to start with one of your favorite ones in the Facebook group? Because I have a couple.
Yeah, I have a few. One of them was there was someone that she said that it's not something she did, but it was cringy that she went on a date with someone that she matched on the internet, and they went to Hooters for their date. And she liked wings, so that was great. But she was nervous, so she chatters a lot. She just talks a lot when she's nervous. And she said she apologized. That she's like, I apologize, I'm talking so much. I just talk a lot when I'm nervous. And he said, I bet you wouldn't talk a lot if you had a cock in your mouth.
Why do people think that's something that? Oh, why do guys say that? Just in general.
Right. I mean, how does anybody think that's a good solution? Like, how does anyone think
you had a
that's a
cock
good
in your
answer?
mouth? Great. Well, let's just go to the bathroom right now so I can shut the fuck up.
Yeah. So she said she actually snuck out the back door, and which is great. That's a great way to deal with. I mean, because that's also it's cringy to have that happen. To think that someone would actually have the gall to say that, but I think your best reaction to that is that's a red flag, obviously too.
Oh
At the
yeah,
same time,
for sure.
that's a cringy moment that turns into a red flag because that's sometimes how that happens.
You should never say that to a woman ever, unless like you're like in a relationship. I think Master of None said some douchebag thing like that. And I'm like, God, you're an asshole. But we laugh about it. It's not like a first date of
Right. Yeah. No, it can be funny. It can be funny. Like that would be a funny thing to say. Yeah, that'd be a funny thing to say on a future date, like on a date that you guys go on later or whatever. Like or now, if you were just like saying something and he just said that.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second here. Hold on. I'm trying to get this thing is just giving me problems, so I'm trying to take this off here. And I don't want it to scratch up the audio because then you will murder me.
It's also true.
I realized as I was doing it that it was probably making ambient sound.
Yeah, I was like, "What you doing over there, bro?"
Well, I'm just trying to. This thing keeps falling over, and this the pop screen, the pop filter. It won't stay, but I'm just going to take it off completely because it's just in the way now. Come on, you fucking thing. There we go. Okay. Now it is gone.
Okay.
And no more pop filter.
It is a shame though that she didn't get wings, even though she wanted wings. You know, that's the only loss on the. Besides the date not being.
I feel like she got her wings because she said she snuck out the back door and didn't pay for her food, which means she probably got to eat her food.
Okay, then never mind.
So, what about you? You got a couple.
Oh man. Okay, first one is about a clogged toilet, which already tells you everything you need to know for the most part. She goes, a guy clogged my toilet after a very bad date and then texted me the next morning to tell me he had a nice time and wanted to know if I wanted to go on another date with him. My response was, bro, you clogged my toilet. And then he texted back, oh shit, my bad. And I just didn't respond. He texted me a few hours later and said, so is that a no?
Oh, wow.
It's embarrassing to clog a toilet in general, but okay, here's my thing. If you are at someone's house, even on a first date, try to not take a shit at their house on the first date. Right. Try your fucking
Don't have
best.
a first date come back to your house.
Well, also
in
that,
those situations. But yes.
If you do, God, you better only pee. You better not take a shit in there. Oh my God, yeah.
Because that has nothing but trouble written all over it.
Well, it's like if they don't have a plunger you can find, if it starts overflowing, it could go very bad very quickly. So, and it sounds like from her message that he just fucking, left her to deal with it all. So, yeah,
that's always a mortifying situation. Not even on a date, but that's just always mortifying. It's just one of those things. Remember, I had a cousin when I lived in Los Angeles. When I was married and lived in Los Angeles, and we had she came and visited us and stayed in our guest room, and she was probably 12, maybe 13, and so we were like showing her all the sights, and I was taking off work and took her to Disney and all that stuff and Universal, but she clogged the toilet, like she overflowed it, like the whole bathroom was just overflowed, and I was like, okay, well, let me come in there, I'll fix it. She goes, no, you are not allowed to come in here. Get me a plunger. So like she insisted on doing it herself, and she eventually managed to get it, but she was like, was adamant that there's no way I was going in there.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing.
And then she took a picture of what it looked like. I guess she called her dad to have him help, like long distance. He lived in Rhode Island, to have him help her long distance on how to get this back to normal. But she took a photo of it, and then like I want to say after she got back to Rhode Island later on, she sent me a T-shirt that said, "Thank you for the warm hospitality. Love the toilet destroyer," and it was a picture of what she'd done to the bathroom.
Oh my God.
Which I loved her sense of humor, and I thought that was great, a good way to deal, just a funny way to deal with it. Except when she got married and I officiated her wedding years later, at the during the reception, the toast, I told the same story, and I just mortified her because she was just like, she was beet red, she was blushing so much. So that's going to be mortifying no matter what. Just toilet story in general, any toilet story is going to be terrible.
So rule of thumb now is a dating don't is take a shit in their toilet or go home on the first date with them. But if you do, then you take a shit. Don't do that.
We had somebody say that she was on a hike on a first date, which first of all, we've talked about.
No.
Yeah, don't go on hikes on first dates. Like that's a way to set you up, for murder. But he was apparently very awkward and was saying things and like all these things that she just felt really weird about it. And eventually she was just kind of like done with the date. And so she's like, I have to go. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll follow you, walk you back to your car. And she's like, nope. And she just ran to her car and then hopped in and drove off, which I don't think she expected me to say that's the cringy part. I think the guy was being cringy as well. But I think it's kind of cringy.
The running thing is very cringe.
To run back to your car and drive off. Yeah, it's just like that. That's.
I can't even imagine. Like that is so embarrassing for everyone involved. To see you run and to be the one running is just, girl, what you doing? No.
If the conversation was just like so like that bad that you just ran back to your car, that is mortifying. And yeah, I mean, and there's really nothing you can do at that point. Like why even bother texting her? Like I don't know. He did though, and I don't even know why. I would just be like, okay, that's my sign. That's a sign.
Anyone who runs away from you, that's the sign right there. It ain't working.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that now that I'm reading this other cringy story, I'm like, another dating don't Uber pool going back home.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're gonna figure out where you live too. Like if you're gonna Uber home and get an Uber just for yourself. Don't Uber pool, because this story, she goes, we both called Uber pools home and we ended up in the same car. And the driver goes, how was the first date? Like,
Yeah, that's funny as hell. That'd be so awkward because you're both going in the same direction. And so the Uber, I just can't imagine that.
And then you figure out where they live too, unless there's more people in the pool, but there's a very high chance that someone's gonna see where the other person lives, you know?
Right.
So don't Uber pool home.
We had somebody who actually a friend of mine from college who hit his college sweetheart in the forehead with a cork on their date. So he was trying to open the wine and just like it popped off and our champagne and popped her right in the forehead.
Such bad luck.
And you feel like that could be something that could be a funny story for the future, which apparently it is because they're married now. So I know that like it is, but that also could be like the end right there. Like if you wound somebody, because if you see how they react, like if they get hit in the forehead and they get shitty, then it'd be like, oh shit, like I don't want to be with that person. Like I don't want to, if like anything, an accident happens and they get angry about it, like that could be a red flag right there too.
That's true. Or they're like, actually, I laughed about it, but I have a black eye and I still don't want to see you again. Thanks for the date.
Did you see other ones? I've got a couple more that I thought were great.
I've got one where there was a proposal on a first date. So she goes, I'm all for men crying and being in touch with their feelings. Just don't cry on a first date. So she went on a first date to this nice restaurant with this seemingly normal guy. They ordered dinner. They were talking about life. When the table next to them proposed, and it was written, will you marry me, on a plate. And the guy got down on one knee and she started taking photos because people were dumb and I wanted them to have the moment in a photo. She goes, the entire time my date was crying. He did not know them because I asked him. He said, love is beautiful, and that's why he was crying. After the commotion calmed down, I reached over and asked for their phone number so I could send photos. The woman asked me how long my date and I had been together, and I looked her straight in the eye and said, this is a first date. We did not go on a second date, but I'm still Facebook friends with the woman who I took photos of.
Which is cute, but you know what? I think that's kind of sweet that he was so touched by the proposal that he got teary eyed.
So awkward. That's so cringe.
I think it depends on the crying. Was it getting teary, like just a little like sniffle, or was it like full on ugly cry? Because if it was full on ugly cry, that's different. But if it was just like a little sniffly, teary eyed crying, I don't have a problem with that.
But the fact that the woman who got proposed to had to ask how long have you guys been together, that kind of signals to me he was crying a lot, and that's kind of embarrassing for everyone.
Yeah, that's that's true. He must have been pretty visible.
Oh yeah, you probably just shouldn't cry at a first date, even if like the conversation's taken a really quick turn to something sad. You try to hold it together, damn it.
yeah. I'm sure I've had points when I first started dating where telling a story I might have tried to like stop myself from getting emotional about it, and I was like I had to like pull back because like, oh no, this is not a good first date thing here.
I've been the same way actually. Like my first date post breakup a million years ago, I thought I was strong enough to go on a first date a month after us breaking up. And I just remember holding back tears the whole time. I'm like, I'm not having a good time right now. I just want to burst into tears. I just want to be with my ex. Fuck. And I think he knew, and it was just real bad.
Oh, that's sad.
It's so sad.
So the one with the crying, she also posted another one about going to a baseball game and being really excited because she's not really a sports person, but she'd studied up on the game, and she was with her this first date at the game, and they got a home run, and she like yelled touchdown.
No.
And I love that because like that is such a cringy thing to do. Like it's so cringy, and you'll get like so mortified by it. But it's also that's very recoverable. Like that's another funny story. You know, like a very funny story.
Yeah, you can recover and be like, sorry, I'm an idiot. You know, as long as you're able to have some fun with it, if you fuck up like that and make yourself the butt of the joke, you can definitely recover from something
you
like
have
that.
you have to be able to be like have a little self-deprecation in that sense too.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, we've and there's been a few other ones. People had ones where the guy referred to her juicy boobies, that he was gonna which is just no.
What?
And
juicy booby? Oh.
And then another crying one where she went to the movies and didn't. They went to a movie for a first date, and they didn't know anything about the movie, but it was apparently a kind of a sad one, and she couldn't stop ugly crying. She was like full blown
Yeah, crying's
sobbing,
not good.
snot bubbles, like everything. So he said she never spoke to him again, or no, he never spoke to her again after the date. So the crying was too much.
Yeah,
But
so I guess the new rule of thumb is don't cry on a first date or try not
yes.
to. Damn. Yeah.
I think I had one other one that I was really that I really loved. Oh, this is a cringy one because it's almost like just poor communication, where the date asked her to get all dressed up for a very nice restaurant, so she put on her for like really dressed up, overdressed in a very nice dress and everything for dinner, and then he took her to Joe's Crab Shack.
That's so tragic. Oh my god. No, that's like going to Applebee's. What?
Right. Well, and so it's just so cringy. First of all, that on his part that he thinks really
A
nice
nice
restaurant just
dinner?
Crab Shack, and then secondly for her to be that dressed up and go sit down at Joe's Crab Shack, and then apparently he got like she was pulling shells out of her cleavage and getting butter splatter off of her dress because the way he was eating the crab legs, the all you can eat crab legs, he was just like splashing shit everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my god. And I'm sure she didn't order anything crazy because she was wearing that nice outfit
Right.
because
Right.
they give you a bit I know because I've been at Joe's Crab Shack. No shame, guys, but they give you a bib to wear if you order some crazy stuff that's gonna splash. You will get that. But damn.
Yeah.
Damn, Joe's Crab Shack on a first date sounds like a terrible time anyways.
Well, yes, yes. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Joe's Crab Shack at all. But yeah,
Damn.
that just is terrible.
What
There's
was
some
he wearing? Like what would he wear on that date?
well,
You know?
that's the thing too. Yeah, like was he? I don't know, but she said at one point, they had the bib on, and then they gave him a complimentary eye patch for
Oh
whatever drink
Jesus.
he ordered, and so he had that. He was wearing that too.
That is so tragic.
Yeah, yeah.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Can you just
And
cancel? They say restaurants like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
No,
They
we're
really
not
should.
going there. Hell
Well, here's
no.
the other thing is actually maybe for a first date you shouldn't ride with somebody anyways. Like you should be meeting them at the
Oh yeah,
place.
you never
So
should
then you
ride with them.
know. Yeah. So that's
Right.
another first, a lot of maybe some of these cringy moments could be
They could be
bypassed
coupled
by
with following some
well,
basic
if you
rules.
follow the basic first date rules, then maybe you won't have the cringy moments and some of the cringy moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, there's a whole long story about this one girl who goes out with a guy and he just ends up being terrible downtown, making her pay for everything and all that. There's some good ones. Like I would suggest anybody join the group and you can read these stories because some of these stories are just like holy shit. Like this is just so like how do you survive? One was like a guy who just went into the women's restaurant by accident, didn't even realize from the signs, and he went in, used the women's restroom, and then like was out washing his hands when a woman walked in, and then holy shit was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So he was like mortified. So that's pretty cringy too to have that happen.
Yeah, that'll fuck up your vibe on a date really fast getting back knowing you just did that.
Yeah, I know. I would have to tell somebody about that because I would just like
How can you not,
yeah,
honestly?
yeah. Oh, do you have any other ones? I think there was one other one you want to talk about too.
I mean, I have what else did I put on there? No, that was pretty much the only one besides my cringy shit that I've done. That's the only one
The
for
spoon one. You didn't want to talk about the cringy spoon one.
Oh, I tried not to put the spoon one on there because it was just so fucking disgusting. Oh, how can I forget it? Okay, so someone mentioned in the Facebook group, and I don't have like the actual copy of what she put down pulled up, but the guy had some sexual fantasy that he wanted to explore with her, and she's like, "Cool, sexual fantasies. I'm so down. I have some of my own. Sounds good."
And
And
they'd never been sexually intimate either. So this
right.
is just like a first date conversation
Oh
type thing.
God. Oh God. And he's like, "Yeah, well, I would love to come on a spoon and then have you eat it."
Yeah,
That's his
yeah,
sex. And it's like, I know we shouldn't shame other people's kinks, but the thought, just reading that, the thought of that, I actually gagged reading that. I could not even imagine. Ugh, such.
he wanted to jack onto a spoon and then feed it to her. Like, do you think he would do the airplane thing? To be like,
Oh, stop,
oh, open
stop,
up, here comes the
stop.
plane. Open up, open up.
I actually want to throw up. Fuck,
Here's
man.
it's Americama Airlines. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Air jizz coming right at you. Open up.
Jizz air.
Spoonful of sugar for the baby. Like
Jesus.
that's just the feeding it to her is just interesting. I honestly, if you're gonna
I'm
feed
fine with swallowing, but
if you're gonna feed
damn.
jizz to somebody, just
I'll suck your dick
take
and
it
I'll
direct from the source. Like you don't need to drink from the tap. You don't need to put it on the spoon.
I seriously want to throw up right now. I can't even. And you know how much semen I've swallowed in my lifetime, and I'm just like the thought of swallowing it on a spoon just makes it so much less okay. Like I'm totally fine with either spitting or swallowing, but I normally will swallow. But fuck, man, no, I won't swallow on a spoon. Straight from the source only.
So this goes out directly to Master of None.
Oh my-
Next time you're in the bedroom with Sarah, please bring out a large serving spoon and cum in it, just to see her reaction.
God no. I like actually want to throw up right now. I'm so sorry for shaming that kink, but fuck, man, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And to have someone tell you that on a first date, like I would
Yeah.
actually act how I'm acting now because of my gag reflexes on that. I don't have that bad of a gag reflex sucking a dick, but you say that and I'm like, I can't.
I
can't.
mean, it would be a thing. It seems like a lot of effort, like a lot of prep work, and like I mean, you just have to like hold on, let me grab the spoon, like it's just so weird.
Let me go pull the spoon really fast. And you gotta make sure it doesn't fall off the spoon too. Like you gotta hit this. I mean, not unless you come into a cup and then you just pour it on the spoon.
Well, that's the thing, because like
Damn.
as you know, like when you come to, like sometimes it shoots like a mile away, like you hit yourself in the face with it. Sometimes it comes out, just like it just comes out normally, and then so you never know what it's gonna do. So like you'd have to like play like Olympics with the spoon to try to catch it too. Like that whole thing sounds like quite an experience.
You'd have to get a big cup or bowl beforehand to.
I like how we're
Why are
we're still talking.
You could do this because I don't think you should do this unless that's really your kink and you have a partner who's about it. Then go for it. But I am not going to be about it. If my partner was about it, I could not do that. Sorry, babe. I am not.
Now I hope he tries it.
Don't even fucking joke about
I
this.
think he will try as a joke too. I really could totally see him doing that, and I'm gonna love this when this happens. I'm gonna get a FaceTime call, and you're gonna have a spoon in your hand. You're gonna be like, "Do you know what he just did?" And I'm just gonna die laughing.
Great.
Well, let's talk about our own cringy things that we've done.
There's so many to choose from, honestly.
I know.
Fuck. As if we talk like we know what the fuck we're doing. We really haven't been doing very well in the past.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's why, because it's not like
we've learned from our mistakes.
We're not saying we're experts. We're saying look at all these mistakes we've made, and we've tried to learn from them, and now you can learn from our mistakes as well.
That is 100% true. Yes, I will say I.
I've lost you. I'm going to let my audio keep recording. I don't know what's going to happen to the video here, but I feel like Skype is going to freak out in a second.
I lost you.
Oh,
okay.
We're back.
Okay. What the fuck?
That was weird. That was weird. I thought we were both going to just have to restart everything, but it looks like
it's fine.
Okay,
so I was going to say, have you ever had those moments where your brain just flips back to something cringy that happened of dating this guy in college, and I was very drunk at a bar in St. Pete, and I really liked him. I don't really know why I really liked him, but I really liked him. And I just remember standing outside of this bar, and I'm like, I think I'm falling in love with you. And he goes, "Oh my God, you did not say that." And I was like, "Oh fuck, why did I say that?"
Oh my God.
It was so bad. It was honestly so bad. And my brain goes back. Like, I can still remember what I was wearing, and that, like, my brain just flashbulb memories that all the fucking time of just a big mistake I made when I was like 22. Ugh.
That is, I So I had something
bad.
similar that wasn't quite like that, but I used to go to this bar where I would do open mic comedy, and I got to know the bartender there. And I would go hang out with her after. So I would go hang out at the bar at like midnight, stay till the bar closed at 2. Then she and I would hang out there till like 3 or 4. And then occasionally would like make out a little bit. We'd go back to her house and hang out and stuff like that. We'd just talk about life and everything. And I scared her off because and this is when I was first newly divorced. As I sent her like this text that said something like, "You've had a really hard like life, and like people have been really shitty to you, and it really like hurts my heart to think that. And I just want to let you know that I would never do that to you. That like I will always be somebody that will make sure that you're treated right and with respect and blah blah." Which all in all is a nice sentiment, except I'd only known her like 2 days when I did this.
Ooh, yeah.
And that just kind of, yeah, that's so cringy. When I think about it now, I'm like, I can't believe I did that. Like,
Honestly.
I swooped in there and tried to rescue her when I was like, it was like, oh, it's so terrible. I would never do that now, but it's awful.
Yeah. That. Like, I'm glad we both have those moments, but it's still so bad. It happened almost 10 years ago, and I'm still like, oh, fuck me for doing that one. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
What else have you done?
What else? Well, okay, this one isn't a me. This was a recent Nashville thing that happened where I was sleeping in bed with this guy in my apartment, and he wakes up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and he answers the phone and wakes me up, and he picked up a call from his ex-girlfriend, and he got out of bed and answered her call while he was in bed with me.
I remember us talking about this.
I
Who was it?
um I know his name, and we never gave him a nickname
I would never
because
give him a name and never
there
went
were
beyond
other
that.
things that I never shared on the podcast that were just like not happening for me.
Okay.
And he got very vulnerable to me like the third date in, and I was like, I'm not really feeling this guy. And then that happened, and I was like, cool,
Oh, I remember
we're
this
not
one.
gonna date
Okay.
anymore. We're done here.
Yes.
Um,
This was
yeah.
the beginning of last year.
Fu-
It was,
it was December of 2019 is when
yeah, okay.
we went out, and we went on a couple dates, and our second date was also really cringe because he's talking about his fetishes and kinks at this very quiet ass coffee shop, and everyone can
That's
hear, and
right.
I wanted to actually fucking kill myself because everyone was looking at me like, well, what's she gonna say next? And it was just not a good place to be. And then that happened. I was like, there's just been way too many cringy things between the two of us. I can't do this anymore. And then what was even worse is after that, then I was like, well, I just need some time. It was just overall cringy. So that happened. And I said, I just need some time. I just need a little break to think about how I'm going to handle this. But in the back of my mind, I knew I was never going to fucking see this guy again. So I go
Right,
back
right.
home to Orlando. I come back, and he's like, so what's our plan? Do you want to go out again? And I was like, no, I really don't. And then I was actually telling Master about this story. He's like, Sarah, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then, like 2 weeks later, I swiped right on him on Bumble, and we matched again. And he's like, why are you psychotic? I was like, I don't know. I was just fucking around, but I'm a shitty person.
You didn't tell me that part. Oh my
I
God, what is
felt like
wrong with
such a shit.
you?
I saw him on Bumble. I was like, ah, ha, ha, ha. He's on Bumble. That's where we originally matched after I told him I wasn't interested. And then he messaged me on Bumble, or maybe it was Tinder, because then he messaged me and he said, hey. And I was like, just kidding, unmatched. What the fuck did I do that for? Like, I was such a dick. Shit, that was bad. That was real bad.
Now the cringe is all you in that case.
I should have shared that second half, but yeah.
You never I can't believe that. Oh my God, that's such a garbage human being thing to do.
Yeah. Well, but do you know how you swipe on people who from high school or whatever, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
let's just swipe right because whatever. I've done that with what's his face? The fuck was his nickname? The firefighter who I had like tried to have sex with, but like it was the biggest fail ever. Whatever his fucking nickname was, the gentleman.
Gentlemen.
Um,
Yes.
I've like swiped right on the gentleman after we stopped talking, and I was like, LOL. And then we matched, and then we just never talked. So I've done that in the past before. So I was like, whatever, it's fine. And then that happened, and I was like, oh no, that was not a good one to swipe right on just for shit. That was one. Nope, nope, nope.
No, because it's definitely
You've
a
never done
passive.
that?
It's a passive aggressive thing. I feel like to do that. No, I've swiped right on people that like I'm like, oh, we never talked again or whatever. Actually, I had that one person when we first started the podcast that we talked about. Went on a date, talked about ghosting. She's like, yeah, I hate ghosting. I'll never do that. Like, because it's just such a. I've had people ghost me before. It's a terrible thing. And then she ghosted.
Yeah.
And then I matched. I found her again on like Bumble one day, and I swiped and we matched. And I was like, so what happened with that? And this is like a year and a half later, and I was like, so remember how you told me you don't ghost? And she was just like, yeah, and then she just apologized for it. And I was like, I let her off the hook. Because she would still like watch my Instagram stories and like my Instagram posts and all that stuff. It was such a weird thing. But she just had no shame, just completely ghosting when we were trying to make plans, and she just never replied ever again.
Yeah, I think I just swiped right on that guy because I was just like, nah, LOL, nothing matters. Nothing what I do on Tinder or Bumble matters. It was just an accidental swipe. But I did it because I was just like, because sometimes I do that with past people that I see and I'm like, let's see if we match. And then we do it. And I'm like, oh, fuck, unmatched. Just kidding. That was just me fucking around. My bad, guys.
Oh, fuck, unmatch.
But then that is really cringe when that does happen. So, yeah.
That was like a multi-cringe story all between interactions with you and one other person. That's impressive. So much cringe.
Cringe. So bad. Okay, on to you, though.
Let's see. Well, I did have the one lady that we talked about in our very first episode who had no teeth, which wasn't the cringy part. I mean, it was kind of a weird story, but it wasn't cringy. She just mentioned that she's like, yeah, I was born with no teeth. I'm from West Virginia. But it's that she wanted to go out for ice cream, and she wanted to go out the same day that we matched, and she was insistent that we go out. And then we go out and we're walking around, and she starts just calling me a newbie and says that she's been on, she goes on at least one date a day. And she's been going on, she's been on like something like 75 dates in the last, in the last 3 months or whatever. And I was just like, yeah, but you're just a newbie at dating. So I'm looking for something serious, and I can tell that you're not because you're brand new. Because this is right when I was first divorced. She's like, you're still trying to get, you're not ready to settle down. And I was just like, this is all just too much information. But it was so cringy, just the way that she was just like, she was treating the whole thing like it was like this business, like a sales process. Like, yeah, I go on, sometimes 3 dates in a day, just trying to schedule as many dates as I can to try to, just cram all that in there. And I was like, that just sounds terrible. Like, that's just, and then you tell people that you were born without teeth. I was like, that's just a weird way to try to sell them. So it was the whole thing was just like, it was just the whole time I was just kind of like had my shoulders like the whole time I was just like, I don't want to be here. Like, I was just like, I was literally cringing because I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but I don't like it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to be gone. So yeah. And so
me disappear.
The second the ice cream was gone, I was like, let's go to the car or I gotta go. And then, so I ran to the car and left.
Damn, you got a lot of hate from that story telling the story about the woman with no teeth because we immediately got pushed back on that's so rude that you talk about her without having teeth and you're like, but it was true. She didn't
I wasn't
have teeth.
I wasn't making fun of her for it. She had no teeth, and that was just weird to me the way that she brought it up out of nowhere and no context.
I don't know if I would bring that up on it. I mean, it's not like I struggle with anything like that, but there's certain things about my body that like I don't know if I would tell like weird things that I don't know if I would tell people, straight off the bat.
That's the thing is, especially because it was when she was a kid and it doesn't affect, she's an adult woman now with adult teeth that all came in normally. So it doesn't affect, like it has no effect on who she is now. It's just such a weird story to say. It's like, oh, hi, yeah, I was born without teeth. And I'm just like, okay, like, I don't understand.
Yeah. I don't want to be here.
I was like, please let me go home.
Little Adam back then.
I know, because I was like, I dressed up for this? What the fuck? Literally cringing. Like, I was just cringing the entire time. I was like, I can't believe we're walking around eating ice cream and she's telling me these things I don't want. Like, no.
So oversharing is a cringe
just oversharing and weird sharing too is, I don't know. Just
I have this mole on the back of my leg that if I move my leg a certain way, it looks like it's winking at you. That's a little too much,
Well, it's just Well, I think when you feel like you almost feel like you're being appraised like a car. Like she's like, oh, let me look at you, kick your tires, and like see if you're worth
We're
my.
going back to cars now. We got
Before,
Camrys.
yeah,
We're not
yeah.
giving up on cars now. Damn.
But she's like, if I want to see if you're worthwhile, before I go to my third date for the night, or whatever. Like it was such a weird feeling.
It's not a flex to be like, hey, I'm going on 3 dates in one day. Don't flex that. Why the fuck would you tell another date that you have 2 other dates planned for the
No, it is
rest of
not
the
a good.
day, or that you go on a day to day? That makes the person feel less valued, and that
Oh,
your date's
absolutely.
not important. And why are
And
you
also
wasting your time?
also makes you wonder, like, wow, how bad of a candidate are you that you've gone on this many dates
Also,
and
yeah.
you haven't found anybody who wants to spend time with you? I don't know
Loser.
about.
Yeah, that makes you seem like a fucking loser.
Yeah,
Even if you do go, yeah, even if you do go on a lot of dates, I don't think it. I mean, yes, I went on a lot of dates my first like full year of being single, and I didn't feel bad about it. But I wouldn't tell someone straight off the bat. Yeah, I went on 3 dates this past week. I would never. I would say that on the podcast, but I wouldn't say, you're my 3rd date this week. Nice to meet
right,
you.
right, yeah, exactly, yeah. So that was an interesting one.
Damn.
I know. I know.
Ooh.
We got some cringe in our history here.
This one's good though. This cringe story, it might even top the last one that I had. I don't know. I don't know if they're each topping one another, but it makes me a little sad inside. So this date, I met this guy at Live on the Green, which is this big concert series in downtown Nashville, and we matched the night of. And I was with my friends, and we're like, "Oh, you should go meet him, like at the concert when we're all drinking and whatever." So we're drinking. I see him. He sees me. We start fucking making out. It was just like a fun drunk night. Everything's fine, whatever. It's just me being single me. And then the next day, he comes over and wants to hang out. And I'm like, okay, this time I won't be drunk because I was piss ass drunk the first night we were hanging
Right,
out.
right.
I was like, okay, second date the next day. I won't be that drunk. We can actually like see if we're compatible sober, and we can go from there. Why did I invite him over to my house on the second date? I don't fucking know. That was a bad call. But or maybe
That was
we
a
went
classic Sarah move, to be
classic
honest.
fucking Sarah move. Maybe we went somewhere beforehand, but we ended up at my place and we start talking about religion, which woof. Just
Never a good idea.
woof. Oh my god. And I guess apparently he went to Israel for a year for and he was training to be something, and then he like fell out of faith and he just thinks religion is whatever now. And so then he was asking me about my religion, so I started talking about my spiritual beliefs and got a little like choked up because I really don't talk to a lot of people about like just my religious
Right.
practices and anything like that. But I felt like okay. I mean, I was like, okay, this is the conversation we're going with right now. He feels comfortable sharing. I have no shame in sharing either. Just not like a normal topic that I would talk about. And then as I'm talking, he's like, mm, well, you don't really seem like that vulnerable right now. As like you're just like not that vulnerable as a person. And I was like, the
Wow.
fuck? Like that was pretty vulnerable for me to just talk. And I said, I was like, damn, I feel like I'm being really vulnerable right now. I don't normally talk about this stuff. He goes, oh, that's just the line that you use. And I was like, what? No,
Wow.
it's not. What? So then I felt criticized for my spiritual beliefs and everything, and I was like, well, shit. And then he's like, okay, well, whatever you say, but I'm sure like you're just pretending to be vulnerable. I was like, I mean, it's hard to be vulnerable, but like I'm vulnerable all the time, so it might seem like I'm coming off a lot smoother than how I'm actually feeling on the inside. He's like, okay. So it kind of resolved and fizzled or whatever. And then I couldn't let it go, and we started making out on my bed. And he said it again that I was not a vulnerable person. He's like, I don't he made a point to say it multiple times. And as he's on top of me and we're making out, I push him off of me and I'm like, you know what? I think you need to leave. And he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, I think you need to fucking leave. And it was really awkward because he's like, why? And I was like, I'm not going to be talked to like this. Fuck this. So I just
Yeah.
remember it was so awkward. Oh my God. I just remember standing in my kitchen and he did not want to leave after like we left my bedroom and to like try to get him to put on his fucking shoes and leave. He's like, are you sure you want me to leave? Is this the end? And I'm like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is the fucking end. The door is that way. And I literally was like, the door's on the left. You can see yourself out. And it was just so awkward because he just kind of looked at me and then just walked out. And I walked him or I watched him like walk all the way down the hallway because I didn't want him like waiting by my door or anything. I was like, Ed,
Right.
get the fuck out. But it was just so cringy for me to have to kick this guy out because we were like making out and then he made a comment and I was like, nope, we're done here. We're fucking done here.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling the
Ooh.
story about him doing that, and like such a weird thing for him to start like picking on, too. Like it's so fucking weird. I don't understand it.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Oh my god.
Woof. Oh, don't talk about religion, guys. Oh man,
Yeah,
that took a big turn for the worst.
absolutely. Well, let's see. In the sake of time, let's try to get through a couple more of these. I had one where I went on it was actually a second date, and we went to no, it was the first date. It was the first date. We went to Ruth's Chris for dinner because that was back in the time when I was like, I'm going to spend a lot of money on first dates because I'm a
I want to
fucking
impress
moron.
people.
Well, yeah, just like because I think that's what you're supposed to do because that's what they do in the movies, and I don't know how to date. That's really what it was. So we went to Ruth's Chris and had like amazing food. Like, we started off with appetizers, and I love their cream spinach, and we had filet mignon, and it was just so fucking good. And had dessert, like, and we were both drinking at the same time. And like at the end of dinner, I just
Oh
remember
God.
I looked at her and I was like, I would really like to like keep talking to you right now, but I am really sleepy. And I was like,
You did not.
I need to go home. Like I am so full that I am about to just pass out. And she and she was like she, she's like
No.
she's like, okay, good, because me too. Like, so it actually worked out all right. Yeah,
Oh,
she's
okay.
like, because we
Damn.
just the food was so fucking good, and we just ate everything you can possibly imagine. That we were just, it was like I don't know what it was. We just,
Coma.
yeah, we were both in like this food coma. So we said our goodbyes, and then we went out. We actually dated for a couple months, as well. So, but yeah, she and I just we went our separate ways that night, and then went on a second date. And the second date was the one where went to the movies, and I was sitting there waiting for the movie to start. We're sitting in the lobby, and all of a sudden my ex-wife shows up over my shoulder,
Uh,
and was
uh,
like, yeah, and decides just to, oh hi, I'm and introduces herself to my date, and just it's like, oh, we're going to see a movie on this side. So she's going on the opposite side of the theater. She didn't need to come over and sit where I was. She only did it to fuck with me, basically. And then after she left, my date said, I've never seen anybody who literally looks like they saw a ghost. She goes, but you look like you saw a ghost. And I was like, I'm having a panic attack right now. I said, I can't breathe. Like, and I was like, literally just white as a ghost. I couldn't breathe. I had to start taking deep breaths, and she came up, she patted me on the back, and I was like, because it was the first
fuck
time
with your vibe.
well, yeah, it was the first time I'd seen her since since the divorce and all that, and it totally fucked with yeah. So this woman did that. Like our first date, I was too sleepy. The second date, like my ex-wife gives me a fucking panic attack. You would have thought that she'd be like, I need to get away from this guy, but no, she was one of the sweetest people in the world. Like we're still very good friends and everything like that. It's just
Huh.
yeah, but those both were pretty fucking cringy. But I'm too sleepy.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
cringy. Another reason not to go to dinner dates. All right, how about that? It's you don't want to get in food comas if the food's too good.
Yeah, don't go to dinner dates. Don't go to bars. I mean, like we just talked about your story of the girl who we assume punched a wall. My other cringy story is going to a bar in downtown Nashville and all of his friends were there and he was already wasted when I showed up and I was just like, well, I already drove 20 minutes here, so I guess I'm going to stay for a drink or so.
Right,
And
right.
his friends were like, you gonna fuck him tonight? And I was like, I cannot do this. Like, what
Wow.
the fuck? What the fuck? No. And then he was like, well, if you don't fuck him, I mean, you could date my other friend. And I was like, all of you guys are wasted. I'm going the fuck home. But it was just so fucking awkward as a first date. Because
Yeah, it's
what
terrible.
did I expect going to a fucking bar, that kind of bar anyways, versus a more chill bar. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. That is pretty
Oof,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me. I went to a birthday party for a friend, and she and I had we'd originally met on a dating app, and then became friends. We'd hooked up a couple times and everything, but not for a while. And I go to this birthday party, and everybody's like, she's single now, and it's her birthday. You should probably stay the
Oh,
night. And I felt like and it made me really uncomfortable. I'm like, I mean, if I was here and it was natural and organically happening, then yeah, sure. But like, I'm not. Now that you guys are like trying to like orchestrate me like staying over and banging her, it makes me feel very weird. So I left. I was like, that's just it was too uncomfortable for
Good
that.
call. Yeah,
Yeah,
what the hell? No. Anything that's forced like that, just see yourself out.
yeah, yeah.
I
Um, and
think I'm done with cringe. I'm done sharing cringe. I think I've shared enough. I think the overall message is if you start seeing some red flags, it could lead to actual cringe. Or if you start
that's true.
breaking some of the dating dues, then yeah, it's probably going to turn
This
up in
last one could
cringe.
not have been avoided that I'm going to share, and this is my when I was first met my ex-wife in law school. I liked her, and I was waiting around by the back door of the parking lot for school to end to walk her for class to get out, and so we could talk because I knew she had a class that just ended and I had just ended. So I was sitting there and she was walking out, and I was like, "Oh hey, I'll walk with you." She's like, "Oh, you park back here too?" I was like, "Yeah." So we walked out to the back parking garage, and she's like up on like the third floor. And I walk her up to the third floor, just we chat the whole time. And, we haven't actually started dating yet. This is just us becoming friends at this point. But I thought she was cute and wanted to get to know more. And then so walked her to her car. She gets in her car and I was like, okay, bye. Well, my car was actually in the front parking lot. And so I had to try to sneak down the
So
stairs.
cringe.
But then I hear her car coming around the corner because she's driving down the parking garage, of course, as I'm trying to walk down the stairs. So I'm literally like hiding behind a fucking car while she drives by, and I'm like looking around the corner until I see her leave, and
So
then I have
bad.
to come down the rest of the stairs. And then the way the parking garage goes and where the exit is, it's like this circle. So then I'm like standing by a brick wall, just waiting to see her car go around the circle so it turns. And then once I know that she's out of sight, then I can finally walk all the way back into my car.
Do you
I
think
mean,
she was looking for your car though?
she didn't know what car I drove, so there like I didn't, that we didn't know each other that well. So she had no idea. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm right over here." And that was it. But I just didn't want her to see me like trying to sneak back into the parking into school because I actually parked at the
Uh,
front. That was just cringy dumb is what that was.
you were trying to finesse and it came and
Well,
bit you
no, it
in the
worked out
ass.
fine. It
I
was a
mean,
pain in the
yeah.
ass, but she had no idea. She never knew that I did that until like later. I told her probably a year later that I did that, and she thought it was funny. But I've done some cringy shit like that. We all have, but
Yeah.
you can recover. You can recover when it's like when it's innocent and or an accident. Like there's things you can recover from. But then there's sometimes where it's just like, should you recover from it? Like maybe whatever is
Just
about
see
to,
yourself out.
yeah, maybe it's like she'd be like, you know what? All right, good night. Thank you very much. Going out on a low note.
This was a fuck up. We're done here. Goodbye. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just need to call it mid date when it's really just fucking spiraling out of fucking, yeah, just a shit show spiral. Then just leave. Just go,
Yeah.
yeah, this is not working. I mean, that's kind of how that went with the guy that I kicked out of my apartment. I was like, this is not going well at all. We're just gonna just get the fuck out. Just
Right.
see yourself out. The exit. Yes, that way. Please go. Which is also really cringy to do too, like to kick someone out. But I don't know. Some of these things we set ourselves in these situations,
Yes. I
you
mean,
know?
you should have, as soon as the guy was insulting your religious beliefs, you should have been like, you know what, I'm done. But instead, you're like, no, I want to get some dick.
But well, yeah, that's very true. But also, I should have never invited him back to my apartment.
True
I
as
mean, there
well.
there were so many things that could have led it to not being cringy and just a normal date. But I just continued on this is fine, this is fine
this
until
is
you're like, oh, this is over.
this is fine. Uh,
Well,
well,
like I was gonna say, well, like Adam said, if you guys have any cringy dating stories you want to share with our listeners or our Facebook group, you can join us at facebook.com/group/dating kind of DKS podcast. Fuck,
that's
fuck,
right.
fuck,
That's
fuck.
facebook.com/groups/DKS podcast.
Podcast. I literally just typed that URL like a minute ago too. So what am I doing? Or if you want to watch this entire episode and all of the raw unedited parts of the show,
Yeah.
you can visit us there at youtube.com/dating kinda sucks.
That's right. And our Instagram is at dating kind of sucks. You can also find me giving advice on TikTok, and I'm on
Oh
TikTok
yeah.
slash Adam Heath. It's been the new thing that we've been actually doing pretty well. We have our individual Twitters and Instagrams as well. You can email us at datingkindofsuckspodcast@gmail.com with any questions. And if you want to support us, you can also get bonus episodes. I think we're going to record a quick bonus episode after this, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, after this one. So there's going to be a bonus episode on our Patreon, and for $5 a month you can support us, and it helps us take care of everything, and all the work we put into this, and that's at patreon.com/DKS podcast.
Yep, that one's right. Yep,
That one's right.
that one's right. Yeah, I'm fucking up URLs left and right.
I know,
It's my usual thing. It's fine. Whatever. Well, try not to get too cringy out there in the dating world, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Yeah, and happy birthday to both of us. So if you are listening to this, Sarah and I both have birthdays, and we both love birthday wishes, and I love birthday presents, but we both love birthday wishes.
Don't give him shots, okay? We've already talked about how shots for Adam is a bad
just
idea.
Bacon. Just bacon. You can just send bacon to the Avitable Camp for Wayward Women. It'll be fine. But thank you for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode.
Until next time.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.